Hello, welcome to Chinwag with the Horsemen. I'm Andrew.
I'm Mayberry.
I'm James.
And I'm Casey.
All four horsemen with you here this evening. This episode is brought to you by Zoom.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Zoom, we deliver you happiness every single day. This evening we got a lot to talk about. We're going to do some new things. We got a new segment coming out. It's going to be great. It's going to be just fantastic. But first, we want to talk about the gas shortage. That's what's going on in the world as we record. Casey kind of got stuck in it. Casey, you want to tell us where you were and what happened?
Well, sure. I was at the site of the Totally Legit Zoo down in Wilmington, North Carolina, on a beach vacation, and we got kind of stranded there. Couldn't do anything because the whole world decided to buy gas at the same time.
That's an exciting story, Casey.
Yeah, we didn't have enough gas to get back home, so it was a little concerning, but.
Longtime listeners will remember that Casey lives in a different state than the rest of us who live in North Carolina. That's why tonight's episode is brought to you by Zoom. We've had to make some changes. Had to make some changes on the format with that. But yeah, Casey was stuck in Wilmington. He went to the courtesy of texting us to let us know that he was stuck in Wilmington. But then tonight wanted to tell us again that he was stuck in Wilmington. So
sometimes I forget things.
So, Casey, did you go to the Totally Legit Zoo while you were in Wilmington?
Well, I was planning on it. I was going to do some investigative reporting for our many listeners all over the world. And, we just couldn't get to it because of the gas situation. We couldn't do anything. All we did was sit on the beach all day. And, I'm not exactly made for sitting on the beach all day. So,
no, you're not. Really, none of us are.
So what you're saying is if you had gone to the Totally Legit Zoo, they might have put you in as like a human lobster man exhibit?
Possibly. I could have, you may have never heard from me again. I may have become an exhibit, I may have been part of the Totally Legit Zoo from then on.
Or he was fed to exhibit because he would have probably been like beef jerky.
Yeah. Fried. Yeah. Deep fried.
You don't think they would do it puts its lotion on its skin kind of thing?
That'd be a bunch of lotion.
From, never going into this place, I could see that happening,
The three of us speculated that they might transform Casey into some kind of Dr. Moreau animal-human hybrid if he had gone. So we're pretty glad he didn't. It's good to have him back on the podcast without having any kind of animal fur that we can see through Zoom.
Weird mutation.
So we're happy about that.
That's totally normal stuff to speculate for a zoo in a Big Lots.
Oh man, Totally Legit Zoo. Did I tell you guys that my boss is from that area and she was aware of the Totally Legit Zoo? Not by that name, obviously, but she was aware of it. I think that is hilarious. She said they did not go there.
So the locals do not call it the Totally Legit Zoo. That's not a official name.
No, they don't call it that, and they do not go there under any circumstances.
They have
probably. You remember the Big Lots on the bypass where that zoo is now? That's how they call it.
Yeah, you remember where the Super China Buffet used to be? Well, that's where the Totally Legit Zoo is. Super China Buffet. That's an Easter egg for a later episode, probably, but much later. So just hang on to that for later. We also, I think the guys have had a chance to see Mortal Kombat, right? Everybody's seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Hey, Barry, what'd you think?
I think it was the best one out of the three, just because it at least gave you somewhat of a tournament kind of setting.
The first one has a tournament setting. Sonya fights Kano. Johnny Cage somehow ends up fighting Goro. That's a tournament.
Yes, but the first one also threw in people who was never in the video games.
Like who?
That rando that Goro killed.
It was just a sacrificial monk.
No, it wasn't. It was a black guy who was a kickboxing champ and knew Johnny Cage because of
reasons
doing movies.
Reasons.
James, you agree? Best of the three?
I agree. It was the best of the three. I think going forward, if there's other movies, they should hash out a little bit more of the Mortal Kombat lore. But that is a lot of lore to go through and dig through. But to attract new people to Mortal Kombat, for people who had been playing the video games for the last 20-something years, it was a good movie.
Casey?
I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. You know, just like you guys, I'm a longtime Mortal Kombat fan. The video games. Used to play Mortal Kombat 2 all the time. And then we all played Mortal Kombat together. Which one was that? 9 or something?
9.
That was a fun game. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being a Mortal Kombat nerd. I didn't like all the new characters and stuff, but I can see, them needing some new characters in there to bring in some new people who aren't familiar with Mortal Kombat. But I guess part of me was like, man, why didn't they just take the Mortal Kombat story and do exactly the same thing as the game?
If you think about it, the only new character was the grandson of the Scorpion.
Cole.
Yeah.
No, because there was also his wife and his daughter, and that jerk trainer that was like, "You're never gonna make it. You're never gonna do well, and you got to fight. You can't."
Well, yes, but I mean, other than those people who but like Renko and like the generals that ends up dying at the end was all in Mortal Kombat in one of the games.
That's one thing that I kind of did wonder, though, is why were they mixing all of the games into the first movie? I think I don't know, it's so much lore, but I don't think it would be as difficult to digest if you did it in the same order, basically, that the games came out. You know what I mean? So like in the first one, maybe you have Scorpion and Reptile and Sub-Zero and Shang Tsung and, not every character they have. Like you don't need Ermac in there.
Or the fan favorite Ermac.
who dies immediately.
Well, I don't know. It's almost like a prequel because they don't even actually get to a tournament, right? They just kind of...
No, they never made it to the tournament.
Well, Raiden teleported them all to various locations. I don't know why he didn't. Evidently, he had the power the entire time to teleport anybody anywhere. Why he didn't just teleport all of those people to the middle of outer space, I don't know, and solve that problem. But, Raiden is kind of a jerk.
Raiden didn't really do a whole lot in this movie. He was just kind of like, here's a force field. Oh, now you got to go places. And that was about all he did.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't do much in the game anyway.
He's like a playable character. He's like a main character.
He technically, if you get far enough into the game series, and spoilers for 9, 10, and 11, he kind of ruins the time frame and resets everything back before Mortal Kombat Armageddon happens. And that's what leads to the new continuity, the new time frame we're in.
Yeah, remember after Mortal Kombat Armageddon, he was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I can reset time. I forgot about that."
Everybody dies.
As the God of Thunder, I can reset all time.
Everybody dies at Armageddon, but see, Raiden was always one of those guys who was like, I could help you, but the Elder Guardians say that I can't.
Yeah. Well, the Elder Gods have set the rules. He's not supposed to interfere, just like Shang Tsung's not supposed to interfere, but he does all the time. So that's the good guy, bad guy struggle.
Same Tsung is evil. So
do we all agree? Go ahead, Casey.
I was just saying it definitely had really good fight scenes, probably better than... it's been a really long time since I've seen the old movies, but I imagine the fight scenes are much better than what the old ones were.
So I watched them. I watched the other two, Mortal Kombat and Annihilation. And Annihilation is a terrible movie. It is. I remember thinking at the time, that's so awesome because they've got Motaro, the centaur, but it was awful. I mean, it was a struggle to get through.
I mean, half that movie, Jax's arms are not attached to his back.
It's too stupid.
His prosthetic arms, you can clearly see, are not glued down to his back.
The movie magic was not strong.
But I also going to point out that Jax kills Motaro without his metal arms by punching him in the
face,
chest,
something.
somewhere upper regions. Well, that's another question. So in the movie, the big moment for Jax, his big moment is he takes his robotic arms off and his regular arms are just under him. It's not like he has robotic arms. It's like they're armor.
Yeah, it's like he needed performance enhancing arms.
Yes, but his big moment comes when he realizes that he does not need that and that the magic was inside of him all along or something.
Yeah. But in the games, I think the official thing is he lost his arms, right? Just like the new movie.
Yeah.
I would assume.
So the new movie, it's kind of funny too, because his arms, the monks in Raiden's temple or whatever, put these little bitty, silly looking arms on him. And his superpower, when he discovers his superpower, his little bitty, silly mechanical arms become 26-inch pythons, like real quick. So what if he hadn't have lost his arms? What would his power have been? Would he still have grown mechanical arms?
He would have had. He would have had. 64-inch python.
Just beefy regular arm.
What's up with the monks making arms?
Well, that the arms that they gave him is like the arms that they was in Terminator 2, this would look very creepy. But let's give him those arms.
When he cuts his skin off in Terminator 2?
Yeah.
That is creepy. They used to freak me out as a kid. Can we all agree? We'll start with Casey. Can we all agree that Kano carried this movie on his back?
Kano definitely carried this movie. He was the best character, most entertaining character. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it without him.
James?
Yes, I agree. He was the best part of the entire movie. The moment shows up chained in Sonya's little weird, secret headquarter thing. You mean
her serial killer single wide trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Barry, what do you think?
I would agree. I mean, they did finally set up where they told you how he's going to get his robot eye, his cybernetic eye. So I think it's going to be good to see how they do it in the next ones.
Well, I'm excited for him. I think it was definitely a much better movie than Armageddon or not Annihilation. I mean, much better than that. And I enjoyed the Sub-Zero Scorpion stuff. I thought that was pretty well done too. What do you think, James?
I liked it. They hit upon it. That used to be the main driving factor between both of those characters in the early, the early games, at least in 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Barry, what'd you think?
Well, when you have to tell the actors to slow down because they're moving faster than the cameras, it's probably going to be a good fight scenes.
No doubt. No doubt. Casey.
Hey, when they're telling them to slow down, that reminds me of Bruce Lee, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Gosh.
But,
This is Casey's first man crush Bruce Lee moment of the podcast. The first of many, I'm sure.
There will be more, probably.
Bruce Lee was the bomb. But, it was good. The
North for life. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was a good conflict between Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the movie.
So, all right, hey, Barry, give it, how many toasties do you give it out of 5?
I would say 3.5.
Okay. Let's hear them. No, I'm kidding.
Toasty.
You didn't do a half of them. There you go.
What do you think, James? How many toasties out of 5?
I'll do 4, but I'm going to skip doing all the toasties.
All right. What do you think, Casey?
I'm going to split it. I'm going to say 3.75 toasties out of 5.
All right. I don't need to hear the 3, but I want to hear the 0.75.
Toasty.
Well, I agree with A-Berry. I give it 3 out of 5. Or A-Berry said 3.5. I'm going to say 3 out of 5. It was, it was overall pretty good, but I think they could do better, and I think having a tournament will definitely help that.
Well, I mean, they have to set up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this was a great first step. It's just, the fights were good. I agree with you guys. I didn't care much for the Cole character in the thing, but it is what it is. You need that type of character to be sort of a window into the world for the audience, but I didn't care for him very much. But anyway, well, with that out of the way, we'll move to our new segment here on the show, one where Casey unboxes some stuff that was at his parents' house, and we tell stories about it or talk about it. So this segment is called Casey's Junk.
Oh, all right. So yeah, the story behind this.
Hang on a minute. We got to get the jingle here. Hang on. Once again, this segment is called Casey's Junk.
Casey's Junk.
Take it away,
in
Casey.
the box.
In the box. Take it away, Casey.
I love it. So yeah, I went to visit my parents, and they're like, "Hey, take all your stuff from your childhood back out of here. We need the space, for our stuff." So I've got a box. I'm going to just talk about a few things here. So this,
Oh my God!
in a podcast, I guess you can't see this, but this is a science trophy that me and James won. In middle school for being geniuses and basically Stephen Hawking's back in the day.
Oh my gosh!
First place. I'll read it. Math Science Fair 2001. First place.
James,
So
do you remember? Do you remember what your experiment was to win that prestigious Genius Award?
We pretty much just took different, and I think it was just beans, and put them in different jars of liquid to see if they would grow. That was all it was. And I mean, we had stuff like bleach and ammonia and water and Kool-Aid, just random stuff. And we shouldn't have won, but, there you go.
How did the beans grow out of the bleach?
Not well at all. We had a teacher who took the ammonia jar, opened it up, and took a big whiff of it and almost fainted.
Wow. Nice.
He was the science teacher, so no wonder we won.
I think we were the first people in existence to ever discover that sunlight is good for plants, and that darkness is not good for plants. So, mankind can thank us for that.
Yeah, you guys have done amazing work in the field of botany and science in general, I think. So that's a well-deserved trophy. I wish you folks at home could see it.
It's pretty impressive. I do say so myself.
I mean, it puts the Nobel Peace Prize and all that stuff to shame.
Definitely does.
I know you can't see it, but it's got a picture of a space shuttle on here, an atom. I mean, that's basically, the level we're working at when we won this trophy.
That's how you know it's an award for being a genius, the space shuttle and an atom.
Yes.
I don't want to
Elon Musk is going to come and knock down our door for the next electric car.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but what element is the atom of?
Generic.
This one, it's just a generic proton or electron. I'm going to say. I don't know.
There's three elements to an atom there, Casey.
What is that, James? You're a fellow genius. What does that mean?
Man,
it's just the regular atom they show on the Big Bang. That's where they got that from.
Hike them real high now.
Well, you guys are kind of based, or the Big Bang Theory rather is sort of based on you guys in that, not to give too much identifying information, but Casey's wife is in fact a doctor and he is not. So we do sometimes refer to them as Doctor and Mr. So
yes.
Although big shout out to Casey, he did complete his master's degree recently. So big shout out to Casey. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's all thanks to this science trophy for, carrying me through.
That's where it all began.
That's where it began.
That was it.
What's next in the box?
So I've got, not to take up all of our time with this stuff, but I've got a whole stack of regular Nintendo games.
Oh my God.
Some of them rattle. I don't know if you can hear it. So that's a sign of a good taken care of game.
That's how you know they're HD compatible if they rattle.
This one's The Legend of Zelda. It's the one that's rattling and it's got a hole in it. But last time I played it, it's work.
Why does it have a hole in it?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I bought it at like a flea market or something a long time ago.
Man, I'll just tell you, Zelda's a pretty sweet game. That whole series is pretty sweet.
All the Zeldas. superb.
Well,
Wonderful. Except for Zelda
fair,
2.
I stopped playing after Majora's Mask, so I really don't know. But
Man, you've got to play Breath of the Wild. It is great.
well,
Go buy a Switch.
You got to get a Switch. Step one.
like
Step
right
two.
now.
Right now. Or you could buy Breath of the Wild first, then get a Switch. But got the original Donkey Kong,
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Got 3 more here. I've got Sesame Street Countdown. I've had this one since I was like 4 or something. I remember playing that.
Without that, you would not have won the Genius Award.
No, it's taught me to count. The count taught me to count. This is one of my favorite games of all time, Mario Brothers 3. It's
Oh my gosh.
it's a good one.
So was it the original Nintendo that we used the battery charger, the cord for your dad's battery charger to run one time because we wanted to play it and we couldn't find the actual cord to it?
I'm pretty sure that this is it. This is the Nintendo here, and it may be fried from using that random cord we found. But
Well, I just remember we plugged it in and it made this god awful humming noise while we were playing. It was just like.
I don't think it's supposed to make that noise.
No, I don't believe so.
And then the last game here, Metroid. I don't know if you guys
Another
played
good one.
Metroid, but that's a good game. That's all my games, and that's probably enough for the box for the day. But,
Well, that's it for Casey's junk. Then let's do the jingle one more time.
Casey's junk in the box.
Very good. So the main thing we want to talk about, we want to tell a few Pie Night stories. Pie Night is something that we don't get to do much anymore at all. It's really sad, but for a long time we would go one night a week to Waffle House and get pie. That's what we would do. And of course I would eat a whole meal, but the rest of the guys would only get pie. So we're going to do a quick commercial break and then we will do some Pie Night stories. So we'll be right back after a word from somebody. So here we go.
Hey, Casey, you want to record a podcast episode?
I can't, James. I live a state away.
No problem. With Zoom, we can connect. We can connect immediately, just like sitting in the same room. With Zoom's superior audio and video quality, we can talk just like old times using the internet.
What's the internet?
Ask Al Gore. He invented it.
Zoom. We deliver you happiness every single day. Welcome back to Chinwag with the Horsemen. Once again, I'm Andrew.
I'm Avery.
I'm James.
And I'm Casey.
Thank you for sticking with us through that commercial break. Some fine products being sold, no doubt there. So, again, back to we're talking about Pie Night, and the history of Pie Night starts in. Oh man, we don't want to give any identifying information, but it starts in our own county and in our own hometown. Is that right, James? And then we had to move to an adjacent county. Why did we have to do that?
So we showed up doing Pie Night, and our hometown Waffle House had pie for all of us. We show up one night, and they're like, we only have one piece of pie. So we have them call the Waffle House in the adjacent county, and they're like, yeah, we've got plenty of pie. So we took the one piece of pie still wrapped up on the plate and everything from that Waffle House, drove a county over to the other Waffle House so we could all enjoy Pie Night together.
And that began a tremendous tradition of going to that adjacent county for Pie Night. I don't think we ever went back to our hometown Waffle House.
We didn't.
Well, shortly after that Waffle House had some problems.
That's true. That's true. We won't go into a lot of those, but let's just say they were selling more than omelets in that Waffle House.
Man.
But yeah, we had this one waitress in the adjacent county that we would use exclusively, and by that I mean we would only go in if she was there. Casey, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Can I say her name, or is that?
Yeah, we don't really know her last name, so
That's true. That's true. This is a tradition we did for years, and we still don't know her last name, but yeah, her name is Beth. And she's awesome. She was awesome. She gave us pie. And we would only go when she was there. We would look like a bunch of creeps pulling up in our car, checking out who's working and leaving if she wasn't there. But she took care of us. We did this for years, and we went after work, just all the time. And it's kind of made me miss it. We should we should go back, but I'm pretty sure Beth's not there anymore. But
we would leave the coffee shops late at night and go there and get pie.
The coffee shop.
Nothing like getting pie from the Waffle House after being at the coffee shop drinking espressos all night.
Yeah,
after getting well caffeinated.
Oh, we were well caffeinated.
I was not.
No, that's true. So Aberry was always our designated driver when we went to the coffee shop, because Aberry was a little bit younger, still is even a little bit younger than the rest of us. So he wasn't quite legal for coffee yet.
So I could have all the sweet tea I could drink.
And they would give him so much sweet tea when we would go to the coffee shops. But yeah, so what they're referencing, there was a time when we had gone to the coffee shop and I was the most caffeinated out of us, and we had gone to pie night, and there were I don't know, maybe one or two like sheriff's deputies or something, just standing, state troopers, whatever they were, officers of the law standing outside of the Waffle House, and I was very concerned that they would cite me for being caffeinated in public. And I said, boys, we got to be sure to walk a straight line getting from the car to the Waffle House. What happened, Dayberry?
Well, Andrew started to take this nice straight walk, as we all did, and he ended up making a good long bell curve towards the officers, and then cutting back up to meet us at the front door. Which we was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm walking in a straight line. No, you went crooked as crooked could be.
Too much coffee will do that to you.
Man.
Too many espresso shots.
Yeah, espresso shots too.
Well, to be fair, is anybody at the Waffle House at night not well caffeinated? That seems to be the thing.
I don't think they'll let you in if you're not pretty well caffeinated.
They check you at the door.
Yeah.
So it's just par for the course, It's just that's what they expected, I'm sure.
We, Beth was one of the characters that we interacted with a lot at the Waffle House. There was another one whose name we really never did know, but he was in there about every night we were there, and we call him Unibrow.
For obvious reasons.
He was not our biggest fan, was he, James?
No, he did not like us at all. So we've been at this point going for several months doing pie night, and every time we'd go in, we would throw all of our loose change and everything in the jukebox. We would play the same 3 songs over and over. Those songs being Walk the Line, Hotel California, and Folsom Prison Blues. And he, I guess, was not a fan of the Eagles or Johnny Cash, or our caffeinated version of the songs, because we would always sing them. So one night he just goes over and unplugs the jukebox, because I guess he's having a personal phone call in the middle of the Waffle House.
As you do.
Yeah. And I remember the cook being like, what is wrong with you? And going and plugging the jukebox back in and restarting all of the songs. And he honestly had maybe 45 seconds left of Folsom Prison Blues, and then it would have been over. But no, he went and unplugged it, and they restarted all 3 songs again, and he left. So
that cook was amazing. That cook used to make omelets a certain way that I really liked. I forget what they would call it, but Beth would always have him make the omelets to my liking. And Beth just took care of it. I don't know if we ever paid for a piece of pie.
No.
No, we ended up paying for drinks at the end of it.
Yeah, you're right. But not coffee.
No.
So I'm going to tell a story on James, excuse me, because it took us a very long time to get the respect of our fellow Waffle House patrons. I don't know how much y'all know about Waffle House subculture, but you have to go to that Waffle House for a long time. I think it had been years, probably a year and a half or more, that we had been doing Pie Night at least once a week. And we had finally gotten to where when we pulled up into the parking lot, they didn't all turn around and stare at us.
They got to the point where when we walked in the door, they were like, "Party!"
Yeah, they would say Pie Night. Everybody shouted out like cheers or something. And then one Halloween, James went as Rowdy Roddy Piper, and I'm talking kilt and all. And he walked in, they turned and looked at us, and then we were back to square one. Like immediately, we had lost all of our respect for not as long, but for a while. For a couple months at least, they would no longer shout "Pie Guys" when we came in. So that was devastating to us. I think
that knocked us down a few pegs.
It sure did. It sure did.
You think it was because they saw how smooth my legs were?
Well, it made me uncomfortable to know how smooth your legs were, so I'm sure perfect strangers didn't care for it. But
they was all disappointed in their hairy legs and their hairy unibrows and all that stuff.
That's right. They were all so jealous of James's freshly shaved legs.
They were. We never knew Beth's last name or whatever, but we were always just the Pie Guys there. I don't think she ever knew our names either.
Well, that's true. I don't think she ever did. Now that you say that.
It's the Pie Guys.
So Pie Night, there's so many Pie Night stories, but my favorite one, I'm going to let Casey tell because he was actually there. This is one that James and I actually weren't there for. So Casey, tell us about New Year's Eve, Pie Night New Year's Eve.
Sure. This is probably years after we started the Pie Nights thing, and me and Avery went out to the Pie Night, just me and Avery hanging out, and I guess I got off work. It was New Year's Eve. Beth was working. She gave us the pie, and I noticed there's these two girls sitting kind of behind us in the booth, and they were looking over at us. And
we should clarify right here: none of us were married at the time.
No,
just so that's said. None of us were married. Go ahead.
No. But Beth was serving them too. She went over and talked to them, come over and talked to us, asked if they could join us or whatever. And she let them know. I guess I was engaged to my wife at the time or whatever. She let them know that I was engaged, but Avery was single, So one of those girls, I guess, was single, and midnight, you want to give someone a big smooch. This girl decided Avery was the man that she was gonna lay her smooch on that night. So struck midnight. Avery and this girl are like making out or whatever over there.
Didn't she ask if they could kiss at midnight, and Avery said, "Well, we're getting ready to leave."
Oh yeah, that's an important part of the story.
Well, yeah, because it was like 11:15. We was wrapping up. Like Casey had his meal. I ate my pie and finished my cup of tea. And I was like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I guess an important part of the story is I drove. So I told them we weren't going anywhere. We had plenty of time.
I love that story.
We were there, and Avery and that girl had a big old midnight kiss.
That's one of my favorite stories of all of our stories. I love that one so much.
The big thing about that is you spent about 45 minutes with these two girls, and neither one of you got a name, nothing.
Yeah. James and I were really disappointed in that. It was we tried to think about what it might be and find them on Facebook, or it might have been MySpace at the time, but we were not able to find him. Casey's frozen. I don't know if you guys can see him, but he is well and truly frozen on this Zoom program.
That's high quality video.
Mm-hmm, it sure is. It's a good thing we're an audio only medium. But anyway, yeah, that's always been one of my favorite stories, Barry. Tell us about it.
There's nothing to tell. I mean, it's just one of those things that you randomly meet people and they randomly want to do something.
Just one of those things.
Just happens on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
well,
like Mayberry, it does, but
like I mean, what was it? One of those times we was in the coffee shop, a random girl hugged me.
We went out to eat at Chili's, and a waitress like 3 sections over came over and was like, "Are you the Advantage?" And you were like, no. I was like, yes, he is the Advantage. And she gave you a hug.
I remember that. You guys called us after that. That was wild. Casey's back with us.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry, guys. It's this internet out in Tennessee. It's like a can on a string or something. So it kind of comes and goes.
Oh, man.
But like, I mean, I'm just one of those people that random stuff puts me either in an embarrassing situation or in a situation where it's going to be a hilarious story down the road.
It's always a hilarious story. It's never embarrassing. It's always awesome.
Always a funny
for you
story.
Guys.
Hey, Barry, don't tell me you didn't enjoy this New Year's Eve pie night.
Oh, no, I didn't. No. But like the other stories that we might get into down the road.
Well, since you brought up the coffee shop and James brought up waitresses, there is a particular waitress story that I think we could probably tell.
Are we talking about get her number?
Yes.
No, no. I'm talking about when you got smelled.
I think we should talk about get her number.
All right. Well, you can tell that
because
again, none of us were married at the time.
We were much younger too.
I'm trying to think.
And
Yeah, this was before our future wives were even.
Yeah, I think it was.
That we didn't even know them. So
I think what was that? Was that on a holiday too? Valentine's Day, maybe.
Might have been Valentine's Day. Might have been actual St. Patrick's Day. But all I remember is Casey said our waitress is cute, and we hounded him with get her number, get her number, get her number. Casey finally asked her for her number, and she goes, "Oh, my boyfriend is that waiter over there." And this dude could have been a linebacker for any NFL team, probably bench pressed 18-wheelers just for funsies. Like,
wait. No,
that was who she pointed at.
No, you got it a little bit jumbled, James. He was our waitress.
Waiter.
Yes, waiter. I want him coming knocking on my door. He was our waiter. She was cleaning a table behind us. Andrew, couple shots of espresso in, looks at Casey and goes, "Get her number," as loud as possible.
In my mind, that was very quiet. In my mind, I was whispering.
And
you were not quiet.
And she turns and goes, "My boyfriend is your waiter."
Whoops.
And I'm the only one that's not heavy caffeinated because I was underage. And I looked and I went, "You gotta fight that battle yourself, son. I'm out."
No, you would not have let that guy beat me up. You've saved my life many times in caffeinated times. Well, once at least.
I don't know about that.
Well, let's talk about Aberry getting sniffed then, because this is another good one. Another one of these things that happen only to Aberry, would never happen to anybody else. We were in a restaurant known for their wings.
And other things.
Again, this was well before any of us had ever met our wives, but we were there, and the waitress, as they do at this particular establishment, she sat down with us, sat down next to Aberry. James wasn't there. James was working at a camp or something, as he often did during the summer.
Well, but you guys saying this, that it was me and you on the same size and on the same side of the bench, and we ain't small people. and Casey was by himself, who is a small person. So she had enough room on the other side. She like made me and Andrew like snug up to each other so she could sit down with us.
It was kind of strange. She was kind of a strange one.
But it just shows the magnetism of Avery. You know, she had all this room to sit next to me, and she's like, nope, I'm going to sit next to Avery.
That's right.
Hometown legend.
So she sat there, and through the course of, I guess she was taking orders. I don't know what she was doing, but sat there and turned around and like dug her head into Avery's armpit, basically. I mean, not literally, but she got real close to Avery's armpit and sniffed as hard as she could sniff and just smelled Avery. We learned a lot about her later.
We did. But I also got to point out that like my armpits did not smell good right then because I just got done playing some racquetball with a couple of my other friends. And then went and hung out.
That hurts my feelings a little bit.
Well, I have more friends than you, Andrew. I'm sorry.
You know, we've got plenty of stories about this particular establishment as well.
Casey almost beat up the Hardy Boys.
Oh, yeah.
He said, if they come in here, I'm going to drop kick them. This is another one that James wasn't there for. James used to volunteer at camps during the summer, and so he would miss a lot of our summertime adventures. But WWE came to, the largest city near us, and so we didn't even go, but we were at the Wings place. And Casey said, me and Avery were talking about how WWE was in town, and Casey said something like, well, the Hardy Boys better not come in here or I'll drop kick them through that window.
Yeah.
And then not long after that, Edge, Tommy Dreamer, and Hornswoggle came in.
Those three guys hang out, apparently. They were hanging out together.
Evidently. So we went and got a picture with them, and it was super awkward. I accidentally insulted Edge.
Andrew put his foot right into his mouth.
Yeah. I called him champ, and he had lost the belt. Not long. I don't know. I hadn't watched in a while, but
well, you kind of like insulted Edge, and you insulted Tommy Dreamer and Hornswoggle.
Basically,
you also went. I haven't watched since Ric Flair retired.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was after that, wasn't it? Yeah.
You guys are crap.
I didn't say that.
That's pretty much what you did say.
You guys suck.
Well, Ric Flair's the best. They know that. I'm sure they're used to that.
That was also the time Edge wanted to fist bump.
Gosh, Edge is awkward.
And he like pulled it like Andrew was on the other side of the table. Edge was on one side, and he's like, pounds? And like he pulled it away from Andrew. So
yeah.
Andrew would have to like lean across
the table.
I had to basically crawl on their table to fist bump Edge, who had just lost the world championship. You know what? I'm glad he lost the world championship. He's a long-haired goober, and I don't care who knows it.
Oh, I remember getting a phone call while I was away working the summer camp because you guys were going to watch Brock Lesnar in the UFC, and you guys showed up at like 7:30 to watch the UFC pay-per-view, and you guys called me in a panic when you didn't know what time the pay-per-view was because the waitress was like, you guys here for the pay-per-view? And you guys were like, yeah. She's like, great, you're going to be with me for the next 6 hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So while I was on the phone with James, so this was me and Avery and Casey, and mine and Casey's boss at the time, who's a cool guy, but this was really funny. While I was on the phone with James, Avery got up and went – our boss went up to look at one of the posters, and it was like 7:30 Pacific time. So 3 hours later, we would have started the card, and 2 hours after that, 3 hours after that would have been the Lesnar fight. So Avery dropped the ball on that one. That was we went and watched. What did we go watch, Casey? We went to see a movie instead, but I don't remember what we saw.
Heck, was it Hangover? I don't remember. It was
maybe it was Hangover. Maybe that's right. Do you remember, Avery?
I don't.
Our boss had some not so kind words to say about Avery's driving that night.
I actually wasn't driving. That was you.
No, because he said to you, Avery, if you were any closer to this car,
Was that me driving?
Yeah, that was you. And Abraham, I love you, but you do follow awful close. He said, if I was any closer to this car, well, I don't know if I should say what he said. What do you think, Casey? Is it too much?
It might be too much. I don't know.
Okay, well, I won't say it then, but it was pretty vulgar.
No, I think did he say he would just be in the pants in the guy's pants?
Close. But
All right. Before we get into explicit territory here, let's just stop that.
Well, I just was spitballing ideas to do. I didn't think your boss would go with us.
No, I know that was.
He totally did.
He was a cool guy, man. I liked working for him.
But then we go watch Avatar with him.
Yes, we all went and watched Avatar in 3D with him.
I think we saw Avengers with him too.
Yeah, we saw Avengers with him.
Was that the time that we learned about the superhero in Seattle, Washington? And he was
the real life superhero. Yeah, I think so.
The mustache. He was going to fight the mustache guy.
The Crimson something. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I think we should maybe consider doing that, being real life superheroes.
We totally should.
Casey happens to own a helicopter, so I think we could be pretty effective at it.
I do. I have access to a helicopter. I don't know if
He owns it outright.
You own it.
So basically, I straight up own it and know how to fly it, and it'll be fine.
So we would be like the Green Hornet, and the guy who flies the thing would be the actual superhero.
Yeah, it would be exactly like that. Casey would be the real hero, and we would be the public faces.
You know who's in the Green Hornet TV show back in the day? Bruce Lee.
Oh my gosh!
There you go. Bruce Lee mentioned twice one episode. We're on a roll here.
I mean, honestly, that did happen organically. I'm not even mad. That was that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Just working it in there. If everybody's counting at home, that's twice.
Yeah. You're playing a drinking game.
just remember, everybody, blanks kill.
What?
Oh, blanks kill. Oh, because Bruce. Oh, that's awful, man.
Oh no,
that was wrong.
That was his son, right?
That was his son.
Yeah, that was his son.
Brandon Lee.
What? How did Bruce Lee die?
The Chinese mafia or something. I don't know.
Oh,
you don't know? You hadn't seen how he died?
It was some sketch circumstances. I don't know. He just
I've not seen it. What do you mean? There's a video of it?
No, they did a 30 for 30 or some documentary on Bruce Lee, and they cover the suspicious nature of his death.
Oh.
And I was calling Casey out for being a Bruce Lee fan for not knowing it.
I don't know. I'm a terrible Bruce Lee fan. He was pretty awesome though.
All right, dude, calm down.
He had brain swelling. By the way, I just Googled it.
Like typically or after being beaten up by the Chinese mob?
So, not to change subjects or anything, but speaking of those 30 for 30 things, did you guys see that Michael Jordan documentary?
Oh, The Last Dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good.
Speaking of North Carolina and the greatest basketball player of all time, you know.
Did they have the picture of Casey sitting on his lap?
I wasn't sitting on his lap. I was. He was kneeling next to me.
He wanted to sit on his lap, but Michael Jordan said no.
I was 3 or something.
Yeah, right.
No, Casey was crying his eyes out.
Casey was 28 years old. Don't let him lie.
So yes, I totally met Michael Jordan. We're gonna hang out later.
Tell us how you did meet him though, because you really did meet him. Tell us the story.
I did. It was at a wedding. I was the ring bearer or whatever, and
you were the flower girl.
I was the flower girl
at Michael Jordan's wedding,
and Michael Jordan's best friend's wedding. Oh, that was a long time ago. But
many moons ago.
Casey, we got to work on your storytelling because that was just you went right to the end there. No build up or anything. Just
I gotta say, they gotta be more of the person that Casey went to for the wedding was his grandfather, who had all these amazing stories which did not get passed down to Casey.
Which I've been hitting the head too many times, so I forgot all of them.
I will say we have some great stories about Casey's grandfather. Casey's papa was the first guy who ever called us the Four Horsemen. So
yes,
we owe him a great debt for doing that. I think eventually we might have started calling ourselves that, but it's so much less lame when somebody else calls you that.
When somebody bestows a name upon you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the fact that it was Casey's papa, just a good old man.
He was a big wrestling fan too. So I remember him watching wrestling when I was a little kid.
You should have started right there. He would have given you an education, I'm sure, on wrestling.
I know. I missed a good opportunity to learn about wrestling.
Man, I think I miss your grandparents a lot. They were good folks.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were good ones.
Yep.
I mean, who could be bad if they had a old record of Blueberry Hill by Fat Domino?
I know, that's awesome.
That was like his favorite song.
Didn't he know Fats Domino or meet him or something? Wasn't there something about?
Yeah, so there's a story on that. He went to see him in concert at local whatever's Western North Carolina city, and he went to Nashville, and I don't know. There's a concert there, and he was the only white person there at the concert, but he loved the guy.
Which makes sense.
When he was younger, he was in the hospital for a while with I think he had a bad back or something. I don't know if he injured it or what, but he was, back in the day, you'd stay in the hospital for months sometimes. So he would get the staff to call the radio station and ask them to play the song over and over and over again. So he loved that song, Fats Domino, Blueberry Hill.
Go and download it if you've never heard it. It's pretty good stuff. Well, we've had a very eclectic episode, but I think it's been a good one. We do want to once again thank Zoom for making this possible. Zoom. I can't. It's been fun talking to you guys, and I'm sure we'll talk again. I do want to mention though, so we, in the course of seeing who has downloaded this podcast, we have people downloading it in Europe. We have people downloading it, just everywhere, and it's crazy. But we want to get some suggestions for shows, for things, to talk about. So we have an email address here to give you to send in any kind of suggestions or feedback, and that's chinwagwithhorsemen@gmail.com. I'm going to spell it here. Chinwagwithhorsemen@gmail.com. Chinwagwithhorsemen@gmail.com. Go ahead and send us your thoughts, your feedback, questions you might have. We can maybe answer some of them on the next episode or something. So give us a line. We'd appreciate hearing from you. But so thanks everybody for listening. And for Chinwag with the Horsemen, I'm Andrew.
I'm Mayberry.
I'm James.
And I'm Casey.
Thanks for listening, everybody.